Hope you are doing well. Today, horror incident about unseen entity or demon. Even at the age of 21, she never grew out of the Halloween spirit. She still dressed up in scary costumes, went to pumpkin patches with her friends, and even enjoyed the horror movie marathons that played all October long. But this Halloween was a little different because of her demanding career in pharmaceuticals. Allison was now living in a small town in Pennsylvania that was over 2 hours away from her family and friends. That meant most holidays and birthdays she spent celebrating them alone. However, being the optimist that she proudly was, she decided that this Halloween, she was going to thoroughly enjoy herself despite being alone from family and friends. These were her exact thoughts that Halloween evening as she made her way up the path to her front door. Kids in costumes were shouting for joy houses down as the neighbors handed out candy. Hurrying her pace, not wanting to miss the joy of giving candy out to the trick-or-treaters, Allison unlocked her front door and opened it. Before she stepped in there, shoved under her welcome mat was a white envelope. Curiously, Allison bent over and picked it up. There was no return address and only 2 words written on the front for Allison. Wondering who would have left this here, she tore open the envelope, pulled out a letter, and began reading it. Dear Allison, how are you? I hope all is well and you're enjoying your new home. I'll keep this brief because there isn't much time. Tonight, Halloween night, be sure by 10 p.m. to lock all your doors and windows. And whatever you do not answer your door after 10 p.m. I don't care what you hear or what you think you hear, do not open your door. Things beyond both our comprehensions will occur and you must not open the door at any cost. Please heed my warnings, I only wish for your well-being. Be safe, stay strong, and do not open your door after 10 p.m. With love, your Aunt Cynthia. Allison read and reread the letter. She glanced up and down her street, trying to identify a prankster or mischief. She didn't have time to worry about this poor attempt at a cheap scare. Not only did she not have an Aunt Cynthia, but the trick or treat were only 3 houses away, and she needed to prepare the candy bowl. It was her first Halloween in this neighborhood, and she wasn't going to be the neighbor who neglected the children their sugar rush. She made her way inside, her mind quickly occupied with the Halloween joy, trick or treat, and a night of handing out candy. Any thoughts of ominous warnings and cheap scares were long gone. By 9:15 p.m., Allison's candy bowl was nearly empty. Despite being alone, she was having a great Halloween night. She bounced back and forth from answering the trick or treat and watching the horror movie marathon on TV while enjoying a glass of red wine. By 9:45 p.m., she decided to call it quits. There hadn't been a trick or treater for nearly an hour. This was a young neighborhood after all. Most of the kids were all sugared out and in bed. Plus, John Carpenter's Halloween was the next movie on TV, and she did not want to miss 1 second of that. She quickly got up and went to turn off her front porch lights, signaling to any trickier or TR eaters out there that she was closed for business. As she made her way to the front door, she noticed that it was 10 p.m. The letter's ominous warning came flooding back to her memory. But in her wine-induced state of being, she simply laughed at the poor attempt of a scare. As her hand went to the switch that would turn off her front porch lights, there was suddenly a knock at the door. Trick or treat Allison heard from the other side of the door. She reached for the doorknob and almost opened it. Almost. There was something odd about the voice. Something off. Allison cleared her throat, sorry, all out of candy. She expected whoever was at the door to go away. What she did not expect was to see her doorknob begin to turn. She quickly turned the lock and slid the deadbolt across. I said, I'm all out of candy. I'm sorry, try another house. Silence hung there like a dense fog. Allison, open. The door. The wine buzz he was enjoying all night dissipated. She took a step back and pulled out her phone. If you don't leave, I'm calling the police. There was another long drawn out pause. Allison, we both know they can't help you. Her front door shook violently. The frame siding even began to splinter. Wood chips spilled to the ground. In a haste, she dialed 911. When she painstakingly explained her situation, that's when the violent attempt to break in ceased. There was an eerie calm. Allison sprinted into the kitchen and grabbed a steak knife. She opened her front door an inch to see if the maniac was still there. And that's when she saw the red and blue flashing lights. Cop cars and ambulances were scattered on the street and lawn of her next-door neighbor's house. She opened her door wider to analyze the situation. A cop came sprinting over to her. Ma'am, please lock all your doors and windows and stay inside for the night. Allison obliged, but not before noticing that the officer's uniform was covered in dark red. She relocked her door and sat on her living room couch, waiting for sleep to come. It never did. The next morning, the local news had the answers to Allison's questions. The newscaster was calling it the Halloween Massacre. Allison's next-door neighbors, the Doyles, were mutilated beyond recognition. They were a family of 6, a mom and dad, and 4 kids, all gone from this earth. What was worse, the newscaster explained, was that there was no fingerprints, no DNA or any other forms of evidence left behind, just a family massacred with no explanation of how. Allison watched the news unfold throughout the morning, tears stinging her eyes. She scrambled through her kitchen trash until she found it, the letter left on her mat. She dialed her mother, burning with questions. Do I have an Aunt Cynthia? There was a pause. Allison, is everything all right? Where is this coming from? Answer the question. Do I have an Aunt Cynthia? Allison heard her mother gulp. Technically, yes. Who is she? Why have I never met her? Her mother sighed. Sweetie, Cynthia was my younger sister. When she was born, her neck caught around the umbilical cord. She suffocated. Allison froze to the spot, her aunt's letter in hand. That's when she noticed that there was more writing on the back that she hadn't noticed before. She turned the letter over and read. Sweetie, there has always been good and evil on the earth. It's up to us to protect our loved ones from the evil. We've never met, not in this life. But I am the guardian of your life. That's what family does. Stay blessed, Allison, and stay safe. Allison folded the letter to her chest. Her Aunt Cynthia was her guardian angel. It's my advice, if you ever visit, remember to be careful around the river and the forest. For the spirits that are hungry for fear always inquire about the house before move in. Keep yourself and others safe from any type of scary activity. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe.